Kutam Elunu Dees Wamid. Welcome one and all to the newly discovered edible fort that we all call Hammerlock. Normally we'd begin with some light whinging, but today I thought it pertinent to let you all know how much of a keyboard-chewing nightmare this episode was to make. Absolutely nothing went my way, which is of course the norm. So you can expect grime, filth, vomit, blood, death, and of course, socks. I wish I was joking, on all counts. Regardless, the dwarves are bustling, so we should follow their example and get to work ourselves. Starting with Avuz. No, we're not playing silly buggers with names this time. This murderer/cat botherer doesn't deserve the whimsy. Last episode I asked you all to comment with what you wanted his punishment to be, and in a show of great restraint on your part, it was decided he should be put to work. So we've just seen him at his new vocation as Hammerlock's dedicated cobbler. Now, I know shoes would seem a strange choice, but if you think about it, shoes have a tongue, like that of his... No, I can't be bothered pretending. We just need shoes. Yes, come in?
Hello, Mr. Caravans.
Ah, Gainsborough. Got those things I asked you for, I see.
Yup. 2 thank you figurines carved by yours truly.
Amazing. Well, I'm recording right now, so I may as well explain. We've got 2 new wonderful individuals deciding to part with their hard-earned cash on Patreon. And so I asked Gainsborough to make them a little thank you gift. We'll have to get a picture for the video too.
Yeah.
You've outdone yourself. They look incredible. What is it they're made from?
This one for Iron Guide is made from hematite. This one for Matt is made from dacite.
Right. I was wondering, with all the talk last episode about reading with the tongue, what do each of those materials say to you, flavour-wise?
What?
What do they taste like?
Oh!
No!
Hematite tastes like the sound of birdsong at the water's edge of a peaceful lake at the end of March.
I didn't mean...
Dacite tastes like jam.
Oh, Gainsborough.
It's good on toast.
Thank you, Iron Guide and Matt. Bloody rock troll. Oh good, the elves are here. Following Inefa Men Beaches. Don't mispronounce that, hey? And is he? He is! Actually using our south road. What a time to be alive! I jest, obviously, but it is rather unusual for an elf to choose to be underground when there's a perfectly good meadow to frolic through. Oh, coming up to the barricade we erected to stop the visitors rolling down our hill. Another joke that backfired, as we actually haven't had another incident since we put it up. Strange how that works sometimes, eh? All coincidence, of course, and I'm fairly certain supports are intangible from the side. And with the elven caravan, we are of course graced by Betha's presence. Feeling a little trepidatious on this occasion because when he was last here, last year, we swore to fell no more than 25 trees. Nor was it 26. See, this is the problem. Scriptwriting Phlegm assures me that there's a way to see not only how many we promised to keep to, but also the tally thus far. But he didn't know this when he was me, and we spent all last week trying to unalive Snod's parents, and I've yet to get the smell of yesterday's lunch into my hair, so I'll be damned if I'm monkeying with causality again this soon. Or late. Oh, it's happening already. Let's see then. 25, 44. And no mention of reprimand. Whoopee for us, I guess. 44 is a much better number, too. Think of all the charcoal we can make with 44 trees worth of lumber. Thank you for your much saner request this year, Betha. Have a lovely year. Aha, whoops. So, the elves are leaving. haven't actually managed to trade with them and they're packing up. See, I'm always so careful not to trade anything made from wood. I knew they get shirty. But what I didn't know is that this also extends to things made from bone. Something butchers. At least this time it makes some sense, I suppose. Ah well, best thing we ever got was spare clothes. Good riddance. There, see? When I close a door, I always open a window, which in this case has let in a brace of new dwarves. All strong-backed, ready and able. Such fantastic news. We're still yet to see the return of our nails, so I'll grab to any good news we can get at the moment. Up to and including new beasts of burden that are laughably called pets to eat up my dwindling supply of frames. No, I thought that might be it, but there's still dwarves coming. That might bring us to our new soft cap, but we'll have to see. And there's been no familiar faces as of yet. I have been checking, but Channel Glazes and Labourlord had a different government, so I don't think we'll see any. Oh, why do I have to go and open my stupid fat mouth? Mr. Blowsack, who could forget that name, was one of our warriors in the barricaded nails, but here he is, bold as brass, missing all of his meat-damned armour. Again! With fresh new clothes that stink of elf, pretending he's a new migrant. You can take off the novelty glasses with the big nose and fake mustache. We all know that's you, Carol. What does this mean? Have we completely lost the nails? Do I have to spend the next few years gathering them up off the proverbial floor of the proverbial shed? Why doesn't he have his armour? What happened to bewitched nightmares? Why am I so damn bad at this damned game? The thing Snodford made after asking for instruction in how to make beasts beast, Sod Lus Lemus Elker Shedim has come. Don't ask me what it's holding. Snod swears it's a tail, but never without a smile. I don't think it got down here by accident either. After the last time he messed with Hammerlock, I installed a lock on the entrance to my dimensional rift. Bet you anything the keyhole is caked in filth now. Well, Sod here is in for a very bad time, so joke's on Snod. Nothing this insubstantial ever lasts in our caverns. Yes, you see? I bet he's just giggling to himself that he managed to leave his leavings in my dimension. Such a bloody child. We're following Risen now, our legendary weaponsmith, creator of all of the maces that our warriors use. She's in our newly created weaponsmith guild, turning some of our useless, jobless dwarves into weaponsmiths. This was exactly why we created the Thrower of War, a stupid bloody name, in the first place. Now, no, we don't technically need all these weaponsmiths, but we certainly don't need as many clerks, threshers, millers, and fish dissectors either. The teaching really suits our Risen too. These sort of tertiary jobs are perfect for creating positive thoughts for our important dwarves. Sort of counteract the fact they're all either worked half to death or left idle until we need them, as in Risen's case. It's always great to have a legendary weaponsmith on hand, but there's only so much metal, and if we turn it all into maces, what will our artifact dressing gowns be menacing with spikes of? Oh, and it's one weaponsmithing demonstration leading directly into another weaponsmithing demonstration. I always hated double weaponsmithing in school. It was always straight after lunch on a Wednesday when I just wanted to sleep. And from one guild hall we move to the request for another. The Ochre Hall are a metalsmithing guild in Hammerlock that are asking for a space to talk about metalsmithing, I guess. You'd think they could do that down in the smeltery, but yes, we'll approve this. More busy work. My me. The tin opener that didn't work because pewter is a useless metal beast, Gethak Letosimo Dekoth Ithbe, has come. This is my fault. I left it in the cutlery drawer after I had to make my beans on toast with a rock. I must have left the drawer open a crack, which is precisely how I ended up with lodgers, actually. Wait, is it mumbling? What's it saying? How very perplexing. That's enough of that. We're following Lead Peak Fence, one of our new migrants if I'm not mistaken, and a student of Risen. Now, I'll take an artifact from an adequate weaponsmith over a legendary literally anything else any day of the week, so we're excited about this one. As a new face, we don't know all that much about Lead. Or, well, you don't. I know the colour of his underpants. Which isn't as impressive as it sounds. Dwarves don't wear underpants. Oh damn, he picked pig iron as his base material. I could manipulate what the dwarves use by forbidding items, of course, but on top of that being awkward and time-consuming, I think it more interesting to use these things to learn a little something about our delightfully diminutive denizens. Like now we know Lead is a pillock. Right, we've reworked an old barracks into the new Metalcrafters Guild Hall and named it the Cave of Avalanches. The name's actually pretty clever this time round, being an allusion to the sound of a room full of hammers on anvils. Not that there are any. Oh! Onal here, a legendary metalcrafter, has apparently gotten so excited at the prospect of having a new guild hall that she's filled her pants with baby. And hold your comments, I didn't say underpants. Stackard, then, gets to be the newest member of Hammerlock. Is that trade dent or traded ent, do you think? Regardless, she's creative and tough, which will help with the name-calling when the other dwarves realise she looks like Joe Biden. And lustful? Yick! Thank me Mr. Baby Passion didn't follow his wife here. Ha! Low stamina. No, actually, I don't think I'll touch that one. Oh, Led's done, and he's created a crossbow called Barashak Gosubil Bufut. Raked clinches the robust tusk. Oh, for me's sake. The name is fairly simple. It all comes down to Led being a pillock again. Firstly, you practically have to read it backwards. So the robust tusk rakes during a clinch. Clinches here being used to mean a close-quarters scuffle. And the hedgehog explains the tusk. It seems our Led had never seen a pig before coming to Hammerlock and was rather impressed by our boar's tusks. And the rest is explained by him never having seen a hedgehog either, and thinking hedge in this case just meant big. Why this name for a ranged weapon I can't answer, but then again I suspect neither can Led. Though this does explain the pig iron. See, if I'd interfered, this whole thing wouldn't have made any sense. And the nails have returned. They haven't attacked bewitched nightmares as far as I can tell, but I don't care. They're home and whole and healthy. Why in Snod's name am I following a dog? Ah, it's Doran. Don't mind the fact he stripped off most of his armour at the map edge. We can get that gathered back up in no time. Oh, I'm just glad they made it back. I don't know what it is that's causing our warriors to glitch out like they are, but this page on the wiki helped me to fix it, if you ever find yourself in the same situation. Oh, Erash, you've no idea how good it is to have you back. We'll get you sworn back in as militia commander in no time at all, don't you worry. There we go, leader of the new squad, the Wires of Grooving. We could have kept the barricaded nails, but Snod's well and truly gotten in my head, and now I'm thinking he did something to the name to make them go off partying. Regardless, all the members have been swapped over, so it isn't like it makes any difference really. Though the Wires doesn't sound as contextually appropriate as the Nails, for a fortress with hammer in the name. Anyway, we'll leave Erash to collect her things from everywhere except the place she actually left them. Bloody dwarves. Oh, damn. Well, we just missed it. Degel here just killed one of those skulking filth we've been plagued with over the years. Luckily, it wasn't Bamis, but it was one we'd seen before by the name of Kigleg, which, coincidentally, is the noise it made intercepting the mace. Degel was out grabbing her gear, so she only had the mace, her helmet, and her boots at the time. I was about to make a joke about that being the way I'd like to go, but she's 79, and though dwarven physiology is different, that's still 80 years of wear and tear. Probably more creases and folds than comedy night at the Origami Poker Club. Ah, the humans are back. We're following 26-year-old Asri Blot-Tapered, who looks to have had something of a tough life. Going a very strange way to the fortress too, seeming to turn back on himself and... No way! 2 caravans in the same episode, both deciding to actually use our road. It's a Halloween miracle! I know it's not important in the grand scheme, but damn it, our dwarves put the work in, so it feels good to have that work be appreciated. Oh, and will the good news ever end? Lightast, our Duchess consort of Hammerlock, has only gone and given birth to a fresh-faced bonny baby boy. Oh, uh-oh. Damn, I forgot. Lightast has a lover in the fort, Moses Bronzecrests. What if it turns out this isn't Moldath's baby? Would he even know? Here's the boy, anyway. Datan Galley-patterned. An overcautious, depression-prone altruist who's prone to discord, but unassertive and not vengeful. All perfectly standard traits for a baby. Oh, and to save this turning into a soap opera, he is in fact Moldath's son. Probably only because Moses has been too dead for the last few years to perform his duties as a lover. Me, I hope, anyway. So yes, congratulations to our Duke Moldath. I'm sure you'll make a wonderful father. Out of stone, if nothing else. Oh, for me's sake, fine, let me get my half-clothed warriors roused. Right, here come the goblins. You know, it feels like that damnable mouse sends less and less of them every siege. Tishmap could probably clear this lot out himself, and he's a child. And crippled. A sad life he started there. Anyway. We're following Nguslu Phlegm Plague, for obvious reason. Now, he's a skilled crossbow goblin, so I'm hoping he'll last a little while at least. No sign of our warriors yet, but they do mostly have one leg into their greaves at the moment, so it's not a huge surprise. Ah, here we go. All gathering around the tripping hill, and oh, for me's sake, really? And Guzlu throws himself into a one-wide trench so we don't get to see most of the action. Typical. Well, here's Aslot. Seems he hung back and upon hearing the commotion has decided to bravely head home to warn the Mouse Devil. I've sent the dwarves, but I don't think they'll make it in time. Good riddance. And I think that will be the last straw. Time we dealt with the grim squeaker. No? Wires and attics. Raise Doomface! Erush, I believe in you. If anybody can manage to not spend the next 4 months partying just outside of Hammerlock with their breastplate off, then it surely has to be you. Spoiler warning, it isn't her. With the main body of warriors gone, I've decided another squad was needed. Everybody say hello to the Strithful Chambers. We're still following the building theme for new squads at least. And now seems as good a time as any to state I've figured out why the squads keep getting stuck on missions. It turns out that until all members of a squad have left the map, the whole squad just sort of sits off map waiting for them. This includes any war animals assigned to said squad. Remember the war leopard I was so bloody proud of? It transpires that I still had it assigned to the dog kennels outside the Slims. So, whenever it tried to leave to join the squad, a dwarf would drag it back to the kennels and the squads would never get moving. So let that be a lesson to any of you. If you've got war animals, don't assign them to pastures unless you like seeing your armour and weapons leaving to never return. Oh, and the Strifeful Chambers are being trained with spears because variety is the spice of life. And while the cat's away, the mice will move into Hammerlock. It's late when I'm writing this, all right? But new migrants are certainly welcome. I have the horrible feeling our mission to Doomface is going to go badly. And not just because scriptwriting Phlegm alluded to as much. But here's something that's not gone badly at all. Mild spoilers for anybody not privy to what happens if you dig too deep. It's adamantine! At the bottom of the magma sea, so we're following Risen as she digs her way very carefully towards the vein of it. I have personally never played with the stuff, beyond using it to plug the holes in the colander I built the dimension in, so I thought it'd be fun to see what the dwarves make of it. Probably a scarf, let's be honest. And if you're wondering why she feels empty at having her art defaced, well, it turns out she made a lot of the things we're currently feeding into the smeltery. I could have carefully gone through and picked out all her work, but who's got the time for that nonsense? You're a legendary weaponsmith, just go make more for me sake. Yes, see, Lytas knows what I'm talking about. Another of Risen's pupils by the look of it. Lytast is a new migrant and a competent weaponsmith, so it's another time for crossed fingers, if not bows, please. We're going to follow him down to the forges to see what material our new weapon is going to be made from, and it's iron. Well, you know the completely arbitrary rules I placed myself under. I guess this artifact is just going to be a little more lackluster than usual. Good luck, Lytast. At least pick a good weapon type. The filling I made for a mud pie when I was just a lad beast, Meng, has come. I can't believe Snod let this one out. This was one of the first beasts I ever made unaided. I believe I was still breastfeeding even, which explains more of the creature than I could wish. The name's a complete coincidence. I think a lot of things about our outpost liaison, but Busty isn't one of them. As for Mudbird Meng, it seems to have gotten into a little bit of a dust-up with some invisible cavern dwellers. It looks like a fight from a Saturday morning cartoon. Dust clouds and fists with the occasional bish-bash-bosh. Silly bird. Though it's putting up a good showing for something made from such a weak material. And back to the cartoon fight. Is that a tiny empty can of spinach? Back to Lytast, and he's created Seshnania Uthor Dakon Socket Rhyme the Erased Omen. A pick. A steel pick. And yes, okay, I forbade the iron after all, but only because I had to. It turns out Lytast took a bit of time to get started. In all of our delving for adamantine, I didn't notice him screaming for uncut gems, and so to stop him going insane with the waiting, I performed a little trick where I reset his timer by making him grab a different metal. I did choose the iron, hoping he'd choose steel, but he could have grabbed anything. He then of course made a pick, so that'll show me, I guess. It's a nice pick, worth a good amount and covered in pretty pictures of forgotten beasts and that shale crown artifact from the previous episode. But not what I'd call a weapon of war. Thank you anyway, Lightest, you spoil us. Oh, the dwarven caravans are here. I was hoping it was our warriors, but that would be too much to expect with how recently I released the leopard. Oh, for me's sake, another dwarf has fallen down the tripping hill. What do I have to do to make this damn thing safe? Wait, it's a different hill? Oh, well, I can't just flatten the whole of Hammerlock for you. Watch your feet, Miss Peaceful Abbey. Proficient observer, my leftmost heaven bead. Google it. No way, another baby. Ast has 4 in the fortress now and has started to whistle in a crosswind. But that's not relevant, just an annoying habit. And here's the little lady now, Kib Gravel Shrine. This one's got high stamina, which will come in handy with all that long-distance running babies are expected to do. And I must say, I don't know what it is about the females of the Oshildusim having a propensity to look like old men. I'm not against it per se, each to their own, but if you're going to put that much work into maintaining hair on the head, eyebrows would just seem such a strange pick. They're one college pass-out away from years of hard work down the drain. Oh, they're back! Yes, come on in, warriors, get yourselves to the hospital if needs be. And grab a drink if you've not been reduced to stumps. Oh dear, I'm missing a few important faces in the line. Best to check the report than count heads. Looks like they got down there okay, eventually. Then Erash outmatched the Mouse Devil with a cunning plan, probably involving cheese, and the battle was begun with the clean deaths of 7 goblins. Sadly, it would then appear that the fighting began to turn, mostly down to the presence of the mouse. The dogs made a good showing, but bared teeth against metal never does overly well. They did their best, I'm sure. Things go back and forth, dogs dropping, but the goblin pile rising too, until Goroth stepped up. And I can't stomach the full report, not least because it scrolls for 60 seconds. So I'll speed this up and you can slow it down or pause at your leisure. All told, it's 5 dead dwarves. And Goroth still lives. What a bitter disappointment. The cat toy I made that since really let itself go beast Kusun has come. For the sake of my image as a kind deity, I wish the picture of this thing diving into the dirt only to be stopped by its shell didn't make me giggle every time I saw it. But come on! It's topped only by its worm nipples, as most things would be. Not blaming Snod this time either. I sent this to the Dimension of Destiny to appease Puddlekins. It's just bad luck that it turned up now. Oh, blast it all, more bad luck! No, Ast! Quickly, warriors, save the baby! Phew! Oh, poor Kib. I had her mother carving out an area for floodwaters, and would you believe it, there was an evil zebra in my ast hole. Her death was not worth that joke. It was, however, not in vain, because in that same area we have found raw adamantine, which is obviously what we came down here for, but also My bright metal socks! I've spent years looking for these things. I was certain they'd been eaten by the washing machine. This always happens when I decide to do a bit of spring cleaning. Something always turns up in the most unexpected of places. Never more unexpected than the feet of a were-zebra made of coral, but the point still stands. And will the amazements never end? It's Kel Rock's Drive. The nasty little sneak thief that pilfered one of our books in the last episode. And I can hardly believe it, but she comes bearing said book. Hole and hail and oh my me, of course she has, hasn't she? I made a snodding library. This is what you do at a library. I nearly murdered this dwarf for borrowing a book from a library. In my defence, the Camouflage College Library is the only such in all of the Dimension of Destiny. How was I to know she'd be aware of the correct etiquette? I haven't licked the walls. Those of you unaware with what Dwarf Fortress can offer in the form of endgame fun, that's capitalised with an exclamation point by the way, this is your warning for real spoilers ahead. We have discovered an eerie cavern. The air above the dark stone floor is alive with vortices of purple light and dark boiling clouds. Seemingly bottomless glowing pits mark the surface. Oh dear. Oh dear. The dwarves have broken through the adamantine plug and burst out upon the draining board beyond the colander. Quite luckily, it does seem, however, that none of the denizens of this cyclopean nightmarescape have appeared, and so things will probably be okay. Ah. A roiling mass of shade brutes. Ash monsters in the shape of winged vipers. Well, it was a good run. In case of children watching, we shan't be unpausing to allow our dwarves to be devoured by creatures from the black abyss. So suffice it for me to just say thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and comment down below to tickle the algorithm. Look after yourselves, and I shall see you again next time. Anu Zeshon, you most wonderful of individuals. Anus Eshon. Hello everyone, John here. Hammerlock ended a little ignobly, so I thought it best to pop in here at the end to explain. I had never planned for the series to go on this long. Initially I wanted something with necromancers. We were going to have a tower near an evil biome where the dwarves would be corrupted by its presence, and then I realised, after attacking around, that there were no books anywhere, let alone books containing the secrets of life and death. The joys of starting a world at year zero. So I looked around and found the goblins, a worthy adversary. They even had a cool-ish leader in the form of Goroth. But then we had the whole missions issues thing, lost the armour, and a drawn-out war of attrition, taking down each individual settlement, just didn't appeal to me. So sending the wires, nay nails, and attics out this episode was the last roll of the dice. But then they came back, and it was such a wet fart of a scene to end on, so I used my prepared plan B, which was the hole to hell. Which in itself was rubbish, as none of the Vipers ever did move from the south to attack. All this to say that Hammerlock is finally done. I want to move on to other styles of forts and things, but first, I have a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff I want to work on, the intro being most pressing, and for that I need a little hiatus from main series uploads to have the time. You'll notice I said main series uploads. I have other bits and bobs I'll be uploading, but I won't describe them in any detail here for fear of nailing myself to an even bigger cross. Suffice it to say, you won't have chance to miss me. Now, I know Phlegm's already said it, but I wanted to sincerely thank you all for watching. Your kind words of encouragement have been the difference maker in a hobby that's turned into a second job. If you want to support me further, then there's the Patreon, but please don't feel obliged. I'm not going anywhere even without it. Look after yourselves, and thank you.